What's going on? How y'all doing out there? So, what do I think about the news about Michael Jordan being a special contributor, maybe commentator for NBC Peacock? This is interesting? Maybe because Tom Brady does it with Fox. So, could this be flex into flex because the biggest name in football, the biggest name in basketball? Hmm. Will Jordan have a Charles Barkley appeal? Elephant in the room? Will it do for Jordan what it did for Barkley or what it's done for Shaq? Hmm. At the worst case scenario, he can do Kendrick Perkins. But what do I think? One thing about Jordan is this. He wasn't the most friendliest guy or the most lovable, etc., etc. But he did have an old school aura of mystique and aura. Not at the local clubs either, but just he didn't talk a lot. I mean, he talked, but he really didn't. He always talked in the third person, but he never really talked. So this is kind of like letting his guard down. Some people think he needs the attention. Some might think it's for the bag. It's kind of strange to be honest with you because this is one thing I didn't see him doing. He really don't really be talking a lot. So, but I will say this: if anybody supported him tenfold, it was NBC. Oh, you can say TNT and ESPN gave him love, but no one gave him love like NBC. And for the record, Ahmad Rashad was his Shannon Sharp. How Sharp is about LeBron James, that's how Ahmad Rashad was about Jordan. Oh, yeah. So it's going to be interesting, but without the Bob Costas and Peter Vesey and all that, it's going to be interesting. And then the main thing is, how does he look at today's players? That's going to be interesting. It's always something when you see former great players critiquing and they got commentary and what do they really think on a day to day. It's kind of, it'll be kind of bittersweet to see him in this role because, on one hand, yeah, you want to hear him as an elder statesman talking about the game. But on the other hand, I kind of like the mystique when he didn't say much because you really just kind of wondered how things work. And he doesn't really showcase another side of him. Now, when I think about someone that's in his wheelhouse as far as a guy that's done broadcasting in recent memory, talking about Tom Brady, Brady is good. Who knows how to talk to a camera? He got better. Uh, but when a guy is that competitive and those stakes is high, he's thinking and looking at stuff. So you know how that goes. But what will Jordan actually do? But I will say this: NBC and Peacock, hey, they were good to him. Oh, did they hype him up? But to be like Mike commercials and everything you could imagine by association. So, but do I think of him as a commentator with NBC Peacock? It's going to be strange. A man who sold tons of shoes and is still the top seller in shoes and still gets much love and respect and left a lasting mark and been gone from the game for over 20 plus years, but there's still that aura about him. Will that kind of be peeled away if he's on too much on NBC, especially in a day and time when NBA is just not really a happening thing? Not what his era was like. And really, it's interesting that he's coming aboard in an era now where they're kind of at a strange impasse because you got a certain old guard that's nearing the end, and you got a new guard taking over, and of course I'm sure he has to be just for the fact so he don't have to hear people talking about him and LeBron James because that has to be annoying. He gave LeBron some dap, but he has to be annoyed to have to hear that. And of course his mentorship with Kobe Bryant and other factors. But how will he be? And will he ever address his situation with Charles Barkley? And how will he does he have a humorous side? Does he have a balanced side besides the details, and how would he be as a commentator? And of course, we want to really hear him how he feels about certain things he sees in today's game. That's what we really want. We don't want to be cornball and just sit there and say, be safe. So, tell me, what do you have expectations if Michael Jordan does decide to do the commentator? Do you think he can pull it off? Do you think he'll be as good as Brady is at it? Or do you think he'll be a cat that does he have another side that he can show that you haven't really seen? And will it do wonders for him like it did for Charles Barkley and Shaq? Because if the guy needed any more endorsements, but it will be interesting, the motivation and of course the history of him in NBC and the whole thing with you know, because it makes sense in the sense of how good he was big with that network. He won all his championships as part of that whole thing with him, Ahmad Rashad, Costas, and Vesey. So that was an incredible time, but that's been a long time ago. Let me know what you think in the comments, though. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like it. The membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.